Hey, this is Scott Kokenauer, and we are with Mike. Mike, we're glad that you joined us. Mike Winslow, tell us a little bit about your, first of all, what is your Instagram account? Let's start there.
Yeah. Hey, Scott. I really appreciate you having me. So I'm
Sure.
the writer for Diamond State Coffee,
Okay.
and that kind of originated the state of Arkansas. I guess the state's nickname used to be the Diamond State, and
Okay.
so
Okay.
now it's called the
Yeah.
Natural State.
So, the diamond sounds a lot better, doesn't it?
Yeah, Natural State Coffee is just kind of weak. Sounds like.
Yeah. So Diamond State Coffee is your Instagram account, and so let's tell it. And you blog, you write about coffee, and you write about coffee shops on your website, and refer to that on your Instagram. Is that the way that goes?
Yes. So the whole purpose of Diamond State Coffee is to elevate specialty coffee in Central Arkansas. And
Okay.
we're kind of on the backside of the third wave coffee, I suppose. And so we've got several independent micro roasters and shops around the Little Rock area and some of the extending communities around Little Rock, and just have some folks really doing some great work in the specialty coffee industry. And so my goal is just to highlight them and share their story and tell people to go buy their coffee.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this particular interview and you are in this area, Little Rock, Arkansas area and beyond, you'll want to follow Diamond State Coffee on Instagram. And we'll get into the website a little bit in a minute. But before we do that, Mike, tell us what your story is that brought you into this whole coffee thing in the first place.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, man, several years ago, my wife and I had one of those cheap little Mr. Coffee machines that we probably got as a wedding shower gift. And so one day I was trying to clean it out. I knew I was supposed to clean it, hadn't really done it yet. And, so I pulled out a couple of parts and pieces that were supposed to be washed, and it was just really disgusting. I have a little bit of a weak stomach when it comes to germs and, things like that. So
Yeah.
I decided I wasn't even going to mess with cleaning it, and I was just going to throw it out. And then I thought, man, there's got to be another way to make coffee than just, the Mr. Coffee countertop machine. So I went down the rabbit hole of manual brewing and discovered, pour overs and drip, manual drip and Chemex and AeroPress and, all those things that are probably cluttering a lot of our kitchen cabinets now. But that was kind of my foray into specialty coffee. And then, from there I learned about, big box, coffee that's been on the shelf for 6 months versus coffee that's been roasted last week and still in whole bean form, and the flavor differences. And then because I'm a visual guy, I like the coffee flavor wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of how I got my deep dive into specialty coffee.
So this is the first time we've done an interview where the story that brought someone to coffee was procrastination.
You could say that. Yeah,
What a
that's
great
accurate.
story. Yes, and so
Even
those
for
of
the
you listening who
procrastinators.
think, if you think procrastination is a bad thing, here is a perfect example of where it is totally appropriate.
It did, in fact, change my life.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now what are you doing? When we talk about the coffee industry, we think about all the way from the farmer to the wash station, to the drying station, to the exporter, the importer, producers, roasters, coffee shop owners, baristas, and coffee lovers and all the
Yeah.
artists and all of the authors and all that surround that. Where do you fit? What do you do in that whole industry line?
Well, I guess I sit in two places. One, I'm a consumer, and maybe we could level that up and say that I'm a prosumer.
Okay.
I at least in my circle of friends, I would say I'm the coffee expert. A lot of people joke that I'm the coffee snob, and a lot of us have that story, right? Who are in the
Yeah.
specialty
It's a
coffee.
badge of honor. Yeah.
Yeah, I wear it proudly. So
That's right. You should.
So prosumer, and then I suppose I'm a writer. I think a lot of us who are in the blogging world have the fight of, if we do have a solid day job and a family, finding that time to carve out for regular posts. And so I'm also trying to, again, my goal is just to celebrate and highlight and tell the story of the people who make the specialty coffee here in our community.
Yeah.
And to help at a higher level, help people see, beyond just this, these corporate brand loyalties to products that they've always had and, always used. Help people see that there's local small business owners.
Yeah, you talk about these coffee shops that are around you. Can you highlight one or two things that these coffee shops are doing that are pretty extraordinary? Because sometimes coffee shops do things for the community. They connect in the community in unique ways. Is there anything that stands out?
Absolutely. The folks at Zateo Coffee, they started a shop in Conway. They're downtown, and they share a building with a kids play space.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool because it is a business. It's the kids play space, but they have a window in the wall that separates the coffee shop and the kids place, so parents can come and let their kids run crazy and get a really well-made cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And then Zateo, their business model is that they give a percentage of their proceeds to Drink Well, I believe, is the organization, and it's a clean water organization. And so, man, they do a fantastic job.
So, what is the name? Can you spell that?
Yeah, Zateo. It's Zeteo.
All right. And I'll assume that they have an Instagram account.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
They actually have two Instagram accounts. There's Zateo, their main, and then they have a Little Rock. So the main one is their shop in Conway, and then their other account is for specific to their Little Rock location. So I think it's Zateo Coffee LR.
Okay. For Little Rock. Gotcha.
Yeah.
What would you change if you had the power to change anything in the whole coffee? You mentioned the back end of third wave or second wave, fourth wave, whatever. What would you change if you had the power?
And Scott, I think there's always going to be the stigma of snobbery and kind of, don't offend my coffee. And it's funny that I think it's a little bit misinterpreted because you generally hear that from people who, go to the big corporate brand places, and it's like they haven't given the local coffee shop a chance, which, for anyone who prides themselves on making a quality product, whether it's a handbag or a vehicle or a cup of coffee, there's going to be just a level of craftsmanship that you don't get at, these worldwide brands. And so, um,
Yeah.
I think that I would change the consumer's perspective, and that's what I'm trying to do with Diamond State Coffee, is really make it approachable, and so that when people walk into Blue Sail or Zateo Coffee or Milo Coffee or the Meteor Cafe, or River City Coffee here in Little Rock, when they walk in, that they don't feel intimidated by either the person on the other side of the counter or the menu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, quite the contrary.
So,
It is a place. I've been in enough of the, we'll call it third wave, just so that
yeah.
most people, I think, know what we're talking about when we say that. I've been in
Yep.
enough of those coffee shops to know that it's if you're old enough, you remember Cheers, or maybe
Yep.
if you're watching Cheers on Netflix, that
Yep.
I can date myself, but I'm not really dating myself because things come back around. Anyway, it's kind of the
That's right.
local Cheers place. You literally
Yeah.
can go to a place where people do know your name, and it's it goes way beyond a song and a comedy series. But yeah,
Yeah.
changing other people who, if they just knew that it
Yep.
wasn't that way, yeah, that's what a great role to play in the entire industry, is somebody writing about it to essentially convert people and convert their thinking about the
Yeah.
whole third wave. Because I think you can do craftsmanship and at the same time be welcoming and
Yeah. Be
informative.
approachable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which many
One of
people
the things that, yes, one of the things that is kind of my mantra is that, coffee goes in your mouth, so it should taste good.
mm-hmm.
And, you hear a lot of people, or I've heard a lot of people say, man, coffee is just so bitter, it's so strong, or I just can't handle the taste, or the flavor is too heavy. And, I'm like, well, then you've never had a good or well-prepared cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just fun to then lead to, we should go grab a cappuccino or, a deconstructed latte or an espresso flight,
Mm-hmm.
at such and such place. And I'll show you some drinks that you might like. And that, to me, that's the fun of, trying to figure out, okay, this person might like this kind of drink.
Yeah.
Or this friend of mine, would love a pour over, versus just a batch brew, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's actually, that can be a fun way. If you get enough people, you get enough excuses to go to these coffee shops and
Yeah.
bringing people, and so that, what a great opportunity that you've got. Now, you've got a heart for brewing coffee down the road someday, right? You want to do this yourself.
Yeah, man, I really would love to see, my day job is in a cubicle and I interact with people a lot. And I'm an extrovert. I get my energy from interacting with people. And I really enjoy helping people find something they like, or I really like, my wife laughs because she says that I'm better at hospitality when we have guests over at home than she is. But that's just my personality and my giftings. And so,
yeah.
I like to have people over and make it a nice experience and present them something that I've made that is pleasant and pleasing, to enjoy. And so, one of these days I'd love to be able to make that a business. And
well, we'll follow you, and when that day comes, we'll celebrate with you.
I appreciate that.
And I'm gonna let you go, but before I do, what is your all-time favorite coffee drink? If you only could pick one.
I'll have to say that the 6-ounce cappuccino, I just feel like it's a perfect mix of texture and flavor and kind of the dynamic flavor of espresso mixed with the sweetness balancing of the milk. To me, that's my go-to drink.
Good. All right. Well, that's great. So those of you who are listening and the 6-ounce cappuccino is your favorite, reach out to Mike. Tell him, hey, I saw listen to your interview, and I share your love of that drink. Mike, thank you for taking the time to share your story and what brought you, and thank you for being the first one to come to coffee through the often misunderstood concept called procrastination. That's cool.
Thank you very much, Scott. I appreciate it.